Welcome everybody to episode 232 of the effing title. I am Big Husky.
Big Papa.
Oh, Big Papa.
Big Papa.
And we are back once again. It's another week and we're still here. We haven't been canceled yet.
It's always time.
I don't know yet though, because after the video I just posted today, if people do watch it, that might be a part that gets me canceled.
Overwatch?
No, it was so I did an Overwatch one earlier.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing a video for all the Mirror Watch stuff. I just put up my Apex video, and it was just me and Rob, and we're just off the walls to begin.
Good.
Like we're just talking about dicks the whole time to start, and then I said there should be a thing called
video's
Dick
not
Doc.
complete without at least one or two dicks in it.
Exactly. You know, I said that there should be an app called Dick Doc where you can just find other people to dock with. But
I had this thought for years that there should be an app that maps all public toilets. There probably is.
It probably is.
So,
that's actually a fucking great idea, though.
So I thought I've never looked into it, but I was like, it should mark public toilets, and you can leave reviews on the toilet. Yeah.
You know what? That's actually not a bad fucking idea, really.
But I thought about that for a while, and I've never looked into it. There probably is one of those, but that was
probably.
Yeah, so I'd be a top contributor. Let's just say.
There we go. I've checked into this public bathroom 4,392 times.
You are the king flush supreme of this toilet.
That would be fucking hilarious. But alright, so if you guys are just listening at home, that sucks because that means you can't see the screen that I made. I made a screen, made some things, and did some things.
God, that red is so intrusive to my eyes.
It really is, and that's like the dollar of the reds. By the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Fallout, which we talked about last week, right? Was it last week?
No, I think it was
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks. Last week was Rebel Moon.
Yes.
Last week was Rebel Moon. So 2 weeks ago we talked about Fallout because I had watched the entire thing.
And I hadn't finished. I hadn't finished it.
Yet. So we're going to hit on that real quick. And then we thought, why not just talk about other video games we'd like to see adaptations for? So we both got a list here, as you guys, and that's why I'm saying, like, if you can't see it, it sucks because it kind of gives you a hint at some of our picks. And by some of them, I mean a single pick from each one of us. Which is interesting because I don't know a whole lot about your pick, and I don't know if you know much about my pick. So
I don't. I've always wanted to play it. I know the second one's coming out soon. Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Heard really good things. It's on Game Pass. I've always been meaning to play it.
In my opinion, it's a top 3 game.
Oh, okay.
There's moments in the game. So and we'll talk about it when we get to it. But like just for right now, there's like she kind of has like schizophrenia to an extent. Like there's voices in her head.
Oh, is that what it is?
So
it's not athlete mythical. She's just schizophrenic.
Oh, there's that too. But like there's voices talking in her head the entire game. So the entire game that you're playing, all you're hearing is whispers.
That's how I felt watching the Alexander Skarsgård Viking movie.
Yes.
Which I'm drawing a blank on. Was that just called Viking? No. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Did you see that one?
Yes. No? Maybe. Ooh. Yes. I don't know.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It came out in the last 2 years.
Yeah, so like but the entire game, there's just voices going on. And they got to a point where this is back when I was doing the YouTube series stuff. Like even if it was like an 8-hour game or a 12-hour game, I tried to do it in one sitting. So I'm like 6-7 hours deep into playing this game, and it's just been voices the entire time. And it got to a point where I had to take my headset off, and I started freaking out because like the voices wouldn't go away.
Really?
Yeah, it genuinely
game-induced schizophrenia.
Oh, I was fully invested in the entire thing. But before we go on to that aspect of things, let's talk about Fallout. Fallout. So Fallout is continuing to just keep doing really good things, continuing to be on top of everything right now.
Everything right now, except for the for the Fallout 4 next gen update. I don't know if you've seen anything for that.
I have not. I saw a creator named Daddy Ditto. I think if I remember correctly. He posted a thing up where like he was trying to play a game and it wouldn't let him walk.
Okay, yeah.
And
Uh,
it was because like the resolution was too good or something like that. So he had to lower he had to like go out of the game, go into the code, change the coding of the game, and then go back into the game because he's playing it on PC. I'm assuming is that's the only way you could probably do that, right?
yeah.
So he had to do that, and he said maybe if I just make it like bordered, maybe that will make it shitty enough, so then I don't need to do all that shit. So he made it bordered, and it just flipped the camera around in front of his character. So he just saw the front of his. I'm just sitting there, I was like,
So there's so many speculations about that. So they were supposed to come out last year, like over a year ago, and then I think they just went, hey, who cares? No one really wants this anyways.
yeah,
And then this happened, and they're like, put it out
but
because it's like
fucking release it.
a big one that people are getting is like when you shoot, like in third person,
Yeah.
in first person, it'll just shoot exclamation points, and and then like when people shoot at you, that happens, and then like obviously everyone who modded the game, the mods don't work because they're not adapted to this new
And
the
modded
new
for the old system, not the new.
yeah. So
like-
even if you had like mods and you have this new update, none of the mods work. So like it's all whole thing. So like Fallout London was supposed to come out this month.
I'd heard about that. That was like fully
And that's-
set.
Yeah, and now they have to refigure it all out, and well, they can't really do that till they figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with. Anyway, so they fucked that one up. I mean, even looking at Starfield, I think they eventually have come out with a FOV slider.
Mhm.
You know, pretty standard thing to come out with games now. On PC, you either had to mod it, or I figured out you had to go in and write a new line of code for the FOV to
That's
change
insane.
it. So it's the same sort of thing.
That's
I had to
insane.
write lines of code to change the FOV, which is just like crazy.
It goes to show you because like this is one of the things that we had talked about at one point while we continue to hit on just the game aspect of it. Because we had talked about this at one point where it was like when Starfield was coming out, I just didn't give two fucks. You were kind of excited about it, you know.
I was because I mean I've been like a Fallout, Elder Scrolls,
A
you know,
Bethesda sort of homie,
Yeah.
you know. So like,
Yeah.
I didn't give two fucks about it, but it just goes to show you because like I was in the minority apparently because like there was a ton of people that were fucking ecstatic about it, and then it comes out and it just completely flops. Meanwhile, all it took was a TV show to basically resurrect a franchise.
I've been
Really?
playing Fallout 76.
Oh, a ton of people have.
Yeah.
One of my main mods, Dingles. He's been playing Fallout 76. He's never played it before. He's been playing it
Oh, really?
nonstop.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I've been seeing a ton of people playing it. I saw one of my favorite ones was a dude about to shoot a cockroach, and then the cockroach went into a wastebasket or a waste bin. I was like chasing after the dude in the bin, so the guy couldn't kill it because it was in the bin, but it was still chasing
funny.
after him. But as you can tell, this is what one TV show has done this.
Yep.
That's it.
And I don't know, and people are like, it's a whole thing. We can talk about this for at nauseum, but let's get into episode 7, the radio.
The radio.
The radio. So this is the episode where we link the two characters link back up in Vault 4, leaving,
Yeah.
and
Where we start to find out what is actually happening.
what is actually happening, especially with Norm in Vault 31, which like I really don't know why we haven't seen Norm at all in all this like press junket stuff, because even now we're starting to see they're still doing stuff. We're seeing Johnny Pemberton and stuff now,
Yeah.
which is nice to see. Thaddeus,
Yes, that is him.
he's been showing up and stuff, which is good because like this is the episode where it focuses back onto him when he's traveling around.
Which is kind of nice. I like the fact that like it's the story. Like even though we talk about main characters within this, the main story doesn't revolve around the main characters, which is a weird statement to make now that I'm making it, but it really doesn't. The main character really in this whole thing is the head. If you think about it, everything revolves around the head. It's just that everyone else is just where are they in the hierarchy of everything. But as we start to find out what's happening with the vaults and everything that's going on there, like you said, Thaddeus relinquishing the head. Lucy continues the journey. Maximus goes off with the Brotherhood. Norm secretly breaks into 31 to find out what the hell is happening. Which was it's one of those things I was talking to Rob about it because Rob just finished it too.
Yeah.
And he's massively excited now that he's finished it because now everything makes sense.
Is he gonna play a game?
I doubt. Oh, so funny enough, I don't remember. I don't remember which game it is, but one of the games of Overwatch that I uploaded, I'm pretty sure starts with me and him talking about Fallout. Oh,
Okay.
because he was looking at one of them, and one of them said co-op. So I don't know which one's co-op, but he said one of them's.
76.
He said one of them's co-op, so he said, "Why don't we just play that?"
Yeah, it's
That was
none
that
of them
was
are.
that was his exact wording. Was one of the games said said multiplayer co-op, so why don't we just do that? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, take a look, find out, let me know, like that sort of thing. So
Yeah, it's
he's
just 70. It sucks. It's just 76, which it's fun and like you can absolutely play it together.
that's the thing is that, like, so he's
But all right, here's a little inside baseball on 76.
okay,
So 76, it was like you can have a party of four,
okay,
right?
yep,
And you can all run the same quest, but it's a little broken. It used to work seamless. Like this is like whoever's a party leader, you set the quest. We're all doing this. You're all getting the updates. You're all everything.
yep,
And now you kind of still got the updates. It's a little broken. They there's an update called Wastelanders they put out a couple years ago,
mm-hmm.
and whatever that happened when they put that out, it broke a lot of the multiplayer stuff,
Oh,
and
good.
they just never fixed it.
Oh, good.
So, I mean, it's it's Bethesda stuff. So,
Yeah.
so it still works. It's just not doesn't work as well as it did, which is kind of funny because the game didn't work that well in the beginning, but that was one of the things that did work was the co-op aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So, so there's a lot. There's like raids and boss battles and different stuff you can do in 76. That's a multiplayer aspect.
Um,
But I'm looking at the IMDb real quick.
yep,
The guy who turns Thaddeus into a ghoul, which we're assuming is a ghoul.
yep.
There's two camps.
I was gonna say I've seen I didn't see a ghoul, but I
Yeah.
did see something else. So I'll let you.
So he's either got turned into a ghoul or he's getting turned into a super mutant.
I saw he's getting turned into a tree.
Which that was a ghoul. So that is a ghoul. That guy was a
Okay.
character in Fallout 2, 3, and 4,
Okay.
or maybe 1, 2, and 3. I can't remember what, but he was a ghoul who eventually turned into a tree.
Okay, because that's what I saw, and I was
Yeah.
like, that would be the weirdest shit ever, and I kind of love
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, so in 3 there's this like grove of like trees and he's like at the center of the grove. But I'm looking, the guy who turns him into whatever he
yeah,
is.
the chicken fucker.
His name is Snake Oil Salesman. He's credited it as.
Oh, good.
But he's one of the writers of High on Life. And a bunch of like comedy stuff. So he's like a comedy writer. He must be like another comedian. I just think that's funny. High on Life was that Justin Roiland, yeah, so he was a writer of that game. Just looking at his IMDb real quick, because he like when you see a normal picture of him, I'm like, oh, he looks familiar. But so yeah, there's a couple camps. So you only see one super mutant in the series. I don't know if you're all that familiar with super mutants.
Like the
So
X-Men.
what's up?
I said like the X-Men.
Like the X, yeah. So when the Doctor was at the Enclave in the first or second episode, when he's escaping with the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a thing on the cart, and there's like a hand, and you're like, "What's that thing?" It happened early on, so you kind of just see the hand of a super mutant, and
Oh,
he's
okay.
like, "What is it?" So super mutants are like were humans, and they were genetically modified, and they turned into these crazy, like they're like 8 feet tall. They're crazy. They're bloodlust. They're psychos. They eat people. And then there's some of them that like maintain their sanity and are just normal, but they're like still these giant like things, kind of like
Okay.
Beast
Okay.
in a way. So like he might turn into that. So that's Orgul or tree.
That's kind of cool. I mean, it sets it up though for something, so it's not like it's a payoff right now, but it's also a payoff later, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So we can. I'm not really sure the two, so we can kind of mix the two together. So big things that happen, like they leave, and then you find out that Moldiver is not really a terrorist.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She does bad things, but as is of the way of the wasteland. She's the leader of the NCR.
Yeah. The new California Republic.
Yes. Yep. Bang.
Um.
And then You find out Hank
Mm-hmm.
destroyed the NCR.
Yep.
That's who dropped the bomb or blew up the bomb.
Which that was it was funny because I was saying that to Rob was like it's like the one of the cool things, and I don't know if this is something for someone who's watched Fallout, so you know this stuff, but like for me and Rob who had never seen it, big like this was my theory, and then it's just like I might as well have not even thought of anything and just turn my brain off because like I was so wrong on every theory I had and everything I thought was going to happen. I was so
Yeah.
wrong on them all, right?
Okay. Oh, were you talking about who dropped the bomb?
Well, just in general, just with every theory that I had that was going on, like this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Just all of it was wrong, you know.
So the big talk is that like, is this show completely canon? Is it ever? Is this like approved? Like, is this the universe?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's never been explicitly stated who dropped the bombs.
Well, that's is interesting because they mention like it's like well, it's like if we're gonna make all these vaults, why don't we just make the problem to so people have to use them? Like it never
Yeah.
they never specifically say as well in it like we did drop them. They just
Mhm.
very much highly hinted it that we are
Well, that
dropping
and
them.
when you so that scene with the ghoul when he's God, I forget his name.
Walter
When he's
Goggins.
well, his actor name.
Oh,
So when he's like at the party,
yeah, like
watching the bomb
that's
go off, you never, none of them drop. They just
boom. Well,
they just explode.
the other thing as well is that one of the ones that I read, I saw online is it's like, why would she have approved them going off, no, not having her kid in a vault already, like a secured vault, like like that sort of thing. Like if they're
Mhm.
gonna drop them, why are they not already like?
Well, something's happened in between that time when they rode away on the horse,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't have her anymore, and he's like, "Where the fuck is my family?"
Yes,
Um,
and that's like the
and
thing.
this,
I like a lot of that because it does set up. It's a nice way of setting up a sequel,
mhm.
but it doesn't forcefully make you have to have a sequel.
Yeah,
Right? It's just a where the fuck is my family?
yeah.
It's clear cut what his motivation is as of this season. Next season, now that we know there is going to be a second season, now we know. Okay, now we're going to fully expand on all these things. But you didn't have to. It could have ended after season one. I'd been like, dope, cool, like, you know.
So, all right, more back into the nitty gritty of
Mm-hmm.
Fallout lore is like Fallout 4. There's different factions you can join. You can join the Railroad. You can join the Minutemen. You can join the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could join the Enclave. I can't remember. So whatever you decide to do, it has different endings for the game.
Okay.
There's good endings. There's bad endings. A couple of the endings, you destroy the Brotherhood. So the Brotherhood has that giant flying blimp.
Yes.
It's called the Pryden. That specific blimp was in Fallout 4. That's the one you actually go onto it, and when you're joining the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
There's talk that like, well, I guess you in this world we got the good ending is what they call it, is that the Brotherhood survives. You don't destroy the Brotherhood; they keep going. So that, and they go west because that dirigible was originally in Boston.
Okay.
So in this world, Brotherhood survives. They expand west, and so the big thing is like, if that this is and then the last faction is called the Institute. Do you know anything about the Institute?
Nope.
It's a big thing about the story about the four. The Institute. It's like this it's a faction
Mm-hmm.
of all like robots.
Oh, I did.
So
I saw it. Now that you say that, I saw a TikTok on that this past week. Amazing how that's how I find most of my I find
yes,
most of the
so
stuff.
I think I know what you're going to say. So let me
Yeah.
finish this thought. So I didn't even think about the Institute this whole time. So Institute, what the big thing they do is that they replace key members of society in the current society with robots, clones, synths. They're called synths, and then they live out their life like the person would have normally, but they control them so they can have outcomes how they want things. So the big question is, how is Moldiver still alive?
Yeah.
Like, she's not part of the vault. She's not part of all that. She's not a ghoul. We kind of see her die, but people are like, well, we didn't really see her die. I'm like, well, I guess, but
Yeah.
you see her like keel over.
I don't know why they would I guess certain characters, like I understand why they would bring them back. I guess to an extent.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would her at this point because it feels like her whole plot is ended now. It feels like.
Well, it hasn't because we don't. Why was she still alive 200 years later?
That's the only thing that I like.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's like a mix over. If was she a synth? Is the institute active
Okay.
on the West Coast too?
Okay.
So that is like that's I like that one. That's like she's a synth. That's why she's because synths can die. They can die, and you can just make another one. So that's a thing that I really liked because you didn't see blood, you didn't see her, So I like the whole. That's like the whole thing. I want to see what happens with that.
Okay.
Is that what you saw? That she might be.
No, mine was more just to the fact of like they're robots that take over, and we don't know if anyone is actually who they say they
Okay.
are, or are they
Yeah.
like that. But it's like that was like one of those things. It's like we haven't even got introduced to that in this universe, in this potential canon, non-canon universe. So like we don't
Yeah.
know, you know. Um, but yeah,
So big thing, Maximus wants
Knight
to go
Maximus.
with Lucy. He gets hurt. Lucy has the choice. Does she stay with him? If she stays with him, she probably will be killed by the Brotherhood.
Yep.
But she also wants revenge. She wants to take out her father.
Yes.
That's the big thing. And so she goes with the ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what I also saw is that like my man's so heavy into cosplay, and I never noticed it. Under his jacket, he's still wearing the same cowboy uniform.
Oh yeah.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, I kind of I noticed it, but it wasn't like a big.
Yeah, it's so deteriorated. It's not like blue and yellow anymore.
It's just he's just that it's not even like a role anymore. It's just that's who he is.
Hmm.
You know. What did you think about the ending after all of that, where Hank like kind of lands, and then you get kind of like I assume the setup
It's
for next season.
Yep. So that's Vegas,
Yep.
and a big thing when this was all coming out, people kept like complaining that they retconned New Vegas. They're like the NCR's in it, New Vegas isn't in it. I'm like, turns out the NCR is in it, and they were part of the entire show. And
Yep.
that not only that is that they went to Vegas and they're like, Vegas is destroyed. When I saw that, I'm like, Vegas doesn't look destroyed. It looks it looks habitated.
Yes.
Which so New Vegas is run by a guy called Mr. House.
Mr. House.
Mr. House, I forget his real name, but he was on that board of members down when Barb was doing when she was like, what if we set off the bombs?
Oh, okay. Yep.
Mr. House was one of the guys at the table.
Oh, okay.
So
Interesting.
that's why he went. That's why Hank went there.
Interesting. So Hank went there because he knows someone that's there. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's all
Circle.
circle because it's like you're like, oh, he's going here. What now?
Mm-hmm.
But it all like that's the huge thing about the show. It's like all these things. Like this show has stayed so true to like the lore and the story, and like it's paid homages. Even like the original creator of Fallout, not Bethesda, like the original guy, he came out and he's like, it's nailed the world, and like that's all you can really ask for. He's like, I liked it.
Well, that's the thing is that like it's because it was one of the things that like Rob, if it wasn't for me telling Rob to keep watching it, he said that he already said he's like after like episode 2 he probably would have stopped because it was just too much. It was confusing. It didn't like I was like, nope, just trust the process. Just and at the end of it, he's like, okay, it all ties together now, and it all like everything is like yeah. And this goes to why we wanted to do this along with video adaptations because this is something I've been seeing a lot more of, and I think this is a nice transition if you're okay with that into the next segment, where Fallout.
Oh, what'd you give the whole series?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go a solid like 8.25 chicken fuckers out of Brotherhood of
Okay,
Steel.
I was gonna say 8.6.
Yeah.
So
And that it's there. If I was more into it, I would have gone a little higher. But it's like it's right on that 8.2.
for like not knowing anything about it,
Yeah.
you were
I was in.
it drew you in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched. Like, I was like, I originally said I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch like 2 episodes a day, and then I think
Yeah.
one day I watched 4. You know, so it was like I was all in.
Yeah.
But this was one of the things that we had kind of hinted at last time, and I've seen a couple more people hint at now, and I think it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, especially coming from gamers. I think the reason why this show did so well is because of basically what you just said. It's in the universe, but it's original story within the universe. Everything feels right. Everything feels the same. They do the homages, they do the little Easter eggs, they do the different things, but they don't fuck with anything we already know. It's just a brand new, completely new story within the universe.
Really change anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the big problem that we've had. Maybe.
The little nitpicking, like Vault 31, 32, 33, they were all connected, and they had this like whole thing where they are like a triangle. People were like, "That's not how the vaults were set up." You're like, "Well, you don't know that because we don't know anything about Vault 31, 2, 33."
Exactly.
There could have been vaults that were like that.
Yeah, and considering that every one of those people in that little council committee room there were like, "Oh, what if I did a vault where it's just one dude and 100 women?" Like, you know, like every one of them were doing their own thing.
Which was a thing. So like,
it's like, so who the fuck knows whether or not that little triangle there happened or not?
yeah.
But that's the thing, though, that I think is going to be the next talking points when we look at TV shows, especially when it comes to our series. I'm going to say series. I'm not going to say movies. I'm just going to say series. Because at this point, I think video games translate better to series than I do movies.
Is there a new Doctor for Doctor Who?
Yes.
Oh, no way.
Yes. And I think that they just unveiled the whole thing. Because this is one of the things we had talked about a little bit with Halo. Right?
Yeah. So,
Halo took the thing and they were like, okay, we're going to keep it kind of the same.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's like they tried to do things that happened within the lore, but then they also changed too much shit on the side.
Yeah. And the thing is, Halo has such, like, they have, I think probably 20 novels at this point.
Oh, yeah.
They have so much stuff that they could draw from.
I genuinely feel like that is the ego of the writers being like, well, we can write better than these guys can. That sort of shit. Because honestly, and I will straight up say this, and I don't know if anyone else would agree with me with this. If Halo had just done the exact, literally, cutscene for cutscene, word for word, just gone through the entire fucking games, add a little bit here and there, right? Obviously, to make it, but I would have been fine with it.
That show would have been like gangbusters. People would have loved. It would have done very well.
I wouldn't have given two shits.
No.
So, I say, what do you want to do? Just bounce back and forth between some of these for
Yeah,
video
why
game
not?
adaptations? All right, so obviously I tried to go with ones that aren't like the basics, right? And like I said, I'm talking about series. I'm not talking about movies. I think movie video games, terrible idea.
So I have stuff. I have stuff to talk about. I have stuff that should be stuff that like. All right.
So, well, let me just kick this thing right off with one that we've been asking for years. Overwatch.
So I have that too. Do you think it would be better as a animated show? It's like, look at League of Legends. League of Legends has,
and that's the other side point of this is that some of these are animated and some of these will be live action. Right, this is an animated one. I think if they did an animated one with this, I think it would be a really cool thing that they could do where it would allow them to set up, because now that we have Overwatch 2 and we have the Battle Pass system and the seasonal system, it would be a very cool way to introduce characters before they're out in the game.
That would be cool.
Because then, like, for instance, Venture just came out, and there's always been these jokes about her eating candy, or eating rocks, right? Yeah. Everyone's making these jokes about her eating rocks. Imagine if in one of the episodes, like, it's just like her in the background and she's eating rock candy.
Yeah, they just have like sticks of rock candy, or
and it's like
I know how big rock candy was in the 90s.
Oh, dude, it was.
I feel like we were always eating rock candy. I haven't seen rock candy in years.
But like, I think that a game like that would bring back the lore of the game, which we're desperately missing now that they're getting rid of the missions. So it'd bring back the lore of the game. It would introduce new people to the game, which is always better for the community. No matter what happens, more people playing the game is better.
It's like one of the top 10 best-selling games of all time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is, it's just that it's that it was the game, and then they just messed up things, and bad things happened, and then the community happened, and then just more shit happened, and then and it's like it's one of those things though. It's like I don't play it as much because I lose my goddamn mind playing it, but. I've
seen it.
I've said it multiple times. If I could, I would play that. That would be my main game on my channel. I thoroughly enjoy Overwatch as a concept of a game, and actually enjoy playing it. It's just that I do rage too much.
I lose my mind playing ranked.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like as soon as I get into ranked, it's just I'm taking years off my life. But I think a show for that would be really cool. And the best part about it is this: you don't need to cast anyone new.
No, you have all the voice actors.
The only thing that would suck is that like I think there's a couple voice actors that may not be with us anymore. I think that's by one or two. But it's one of those things just like I think it would allow them to actually do the lore. And like I said, how cool would that be if in like the first season of Overwatch they drop a teaser of a character that's going to come out, and then like in our game like 2 months after the first season's over with, then suddenly that character's there, and it's like, oh, they were talking about her in this episode of, oh shit, it would be such a cool way to mix the two.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm throwing that out there. That's an obvious one. I got two obvious ones. That's one of my first obvious ones. So
second obvious one, Zelda.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because they're like, look how I don't know of any.
Well, I think, could be wrong here. I think they're doing a movie.
Okay.
Like what Mario did.
Okay.
I think that's gonna
like
be
CGI like that.
I think that the Mario movie was the catalyst, I'm gonna say, to a bunch of these other properties that Nintendo has.
I think it could work like that, like a movie, if they do like that sort of like animation.
Yes, I agree. I think there's
gotta have Link voiced by Chris Pratt.
No. We got to not go Chris Pratt. Let's go with Tom Holland. We got to get that.
Tom Holland.
Yep, we got to get that.
Oh, and then his fairy could be Kevin Hart.
There we go.
Yeah. Which actually, so I might jump the line here. So talking about another adaptation that I'm not like that excited about is Borderlands.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things. Is like, so I've never played Borderlands either. So I've never played Borderlands. Okay. I never played Fallout. But I'll tell you this right now. I was thoroughly more excited for Fallout when I saw the trailers than I was for Borderlands when I saw the trailer.
Dude, Borderlands looks like a hot piece of garbage. And so, like, a big thing is, a lot of these things, they don't stay true to like what the lore. Mm-hmm. Like all the characters, like all the actors they got for the characters, like it doesn't match up. Like Lilith, the main girl, she's being played by famous actress. I'm drawing a blank on her name.
Isn't it like Catherine Zeta-Jones or something like that?
No, it's.
I'll bring it up. You
pull it up. Yep. So she's like in her 50s, maybe 60s. She's an old lady. I hate to be ageist here. She's an old lady.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. She's how old is she?
Oh, fucking 54.
54. Lilith is like 18 in the first game. So she's young, and that's her whole thing, is that she is like one of the last of her race. Like she's like young, she's trying to make it out in the world, and like they're changing it so she's like already the leader of this team. But she dies in Borderlands 3 or 2. So like the whole thing of her being, I don't know, it's because she gets older as the games go, and then she dies. So it's like a whole thing that's weird to me.
Well, this is the other thing, is like the Fallout show happened or started coming out. Trailers came out for it. I didn't hear negative as soon as the trailers came out for Fallout. Didn't hear any negatives.
All I heard was that people were like, I don't know if they're going to be able to nail it.
That's it. But then when the first Borderlands trailer came out, I remember specifically seeing the voice actor for Tiny Tina being like, look, I'm not going to shit on this actress because I don't know how well she's going to do, but I wouldn't say it like that. And considering that the voice actor, that is Tiny Tina, like that's who it is. Like that is the person.
Yeah.
She's like, I wouldn't say it like that, and I wouldn't say any of this stuff. If the voice actor for a character is saying that, I'm just like, I don't know about this. Then there, Chief.
And Tiny Tina is such like, she is like, so Borderlands is another thing that's like, it's all funny, it's all dark, it's funny, she is like the overt comic relief.
Yes.
She's like in your face. She's like everything she does is like wild card. I'm a wild card, you know. Um, so I don't know. It's just I don't know what I like. Jack Black. I like Kevin Hart. They just gotta like stop throwing both of them into every big like biggest budget movie of the year because like Jack Black's playing Claptrap, which could be funny.
Yep.
And then Kevin Hart's playing Roland, and Roland is like a soldier. He's like 6'5". He's a big dude, and like Kevin Hart's like 5'2". Like
My thing is that it's like especially something like that is like Borderlands is overtly funny. It's dark humor. It's overtly funny.
yeah,
My thing is that I worry, and this might just come off as me being the old man, but my main worry as well is that like it's going to be too much of that.
yeah. It's gonna be like Marvel level.
Well, not. I don't think it's gonna. I think honestly, from the first trailer, I think it's gonna be past that. I think it's gonna be past the forced humor of Marvel because like there's so many scenes that I saw in the trailer where like I'm watching and it's just like they're still on with this bit. This bit is still going. Like what is happening? You know, like that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, so I skipped a line, but that's why I had to talk about that one
yeah, that's
because I know
um.
that's a
And then my other just big hitter one is Apex Legends.
okay.
It's another one that I think would be huge. It's just they try, and this is the annoying thing with me with Apex is that they try to do story stuff, and this is how ridiculous this is. They do stories from the Outlands, which is like between 3 minutes and 8 minute videos that they do on YouTube, right? And they tell specific stories and specific like things. So like one of them, the first big one that I did, the first big two that I did was reactions for was a Bloodhound one where they talked about their childhood and like how they grew up and like they went and they killed like this behemoth, but they used a charge rifle, which in the old ways you're not allowed to use technology. You have to use your axe. Like that sort of very Norse, very, you know, like that sort of thing. And then like their uncle dies, and their uncle's name is Arthur, and then like they name their raven after him, and then like they finally become like the Blood Hunter, you know, like that sort of thing. It's like there's that one, and then the next one was about Valkyrie and like her and her dad being Viper and all that. And like so, it's like incredible. Every single story from the Outlands has been great.
Animated too, I take
yes,
it.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Every one of the stories from the Outlands have been great, right? Then they do that. Then they do random comic-y, just single frame, like old school kind of like single frame. Then it's another single frame. Then they change a little bit on this frame. Then they change stories on Twitter. Just randomly. No story, no nothing, just drops, just boom, there you go. And it's on Twitter, so no one actually follows it or knows that it's happening. They just drop them there. And then they do actual comic style, boom, there you go. And then within the game, they do novel style, they do comic style, they do animation, like cinematic style. It's all over the fucking place with them trying to tell this story. And that's the thing is that, like, there's a lot of people out there that don't know that there's an actual story going on within the Apex games. Like, everything that's happened since Season 0 to now has been all part of a giant story.
I just think the rough thing is, no, they absolutely should. It's just that, you know, like, most people probably don't even know that, like, Titanfall is mixed in with it now at this point.
Well, no, I mean, no, it's not even mixed in with it. It's
the same
It's the same universe, yeah. There's a lot of people that don't know that. And then there's people that, it's funny because like, there's people that don't know that, and then there's the people that know that. And then the people that know that are in one of two categories. It's either, this is fucking awesome, category that I'm in, or it's how fucking dare they got rid of Titanfall 3, so fuck that game. And it's like,
which is crazy.
It is. To me, it's
I know people
insane.
love Titanfall 2. I know people consider it one of the best like shooters in the last like decade. I remember when Titanfall 1 came out. I went to a midnight release for Titanfall 1.
I thought Titanfall 1 this to go straight. I thought it was cool. My dad thought it was cool.
Okay.
My dad was like, that looks fucking awesome. And I was like, it's a shooter? I don't play shooters. Fucking 10 years later. It's
like
it's all I fucking play. But yeah, no, so I think the time.
I think that'd be cool.
It would
animated though, Netflix animated series.
And again, like this is one of those things. Is like I think that some of these things would be really cool because, like, you think about it, right? Normal TV season lasts what, a couple months most of the
Yeah,
time, right?
yeah, 8 episodes nowadays for stuff like this.
The cool thing that you could do, and it would take a lot to do, mind you, this would all take a lot to do, and this goes with this and Overwatch, is that there are seasons with both of these games where new legends don't come out.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a perfect opportunity to tell a story and introduce new characters, and oh look, who's this new character that we're introducing this season? Oh, it's blah blah blah. Like, we're about to get a new character called Alter in Apex, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if for the last 3 months you've been watching a show that's been hinting at Alter and like little things they've been showing about her before they release the game.
That'd be cool.
It would be unreal because then it would spike viewers, it would spike the gameplay because of you've been seeing the character, you know who the character is, you're kind of getting an idea of them, and then like, oh shit, this is fucking dope. And
I still think the best thing Apex has ever done was they dropped the trailer, and at the end of the trailer, like, you could play it today. You could play it right now.
oh yeah, yeah,
I still think that's the best thing they've ever done.
yeah, the initial release of the game just being like them telling a bunch of the big name creators, hey, this is happening this day. What's happening? Can't tell you.
Can't say.
Just we're just letting you know because you should do this.
I think Warzone did the same thing, but Apex was like,
Apex was before, yeah.
yeah,
But that's my second big one. All the rest of these are now kind of, I guess one of them's kind of a big one, or two of them are kind of big ones, but the rest of them are
couple.
yeah.
So like, I have a couple things. Like, there are a lot of shows or a lot of games, like the biggest games that could be, but like, like GTA, right? I have GTA just to put it on there to talk about it.
Yep.
Like, that game is not really like, people don't remember that game for the story, and it's all about the role play, what you do. But then, like another Rockstar game, which you could adapt is Red Dead.
Yes.
You could take that story of like Arthur Morgan or John Marston. You could adapt that into like a full-fledged series.
Yeah, like a Last of Us almost fucking style.
Yeah, so that could be like this really cool, dark, like gritty Western. And like that could be done well. I don't know how you really do GTA, but like, so like there's like stuff like the last couple of years. Do you ever see the Need for Speed movie?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Let's put it like that.
Oh, actually, one last thing. Fallout, I heard that Aaron Paul is really campaigning to try to be in the next season.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So.
All right, I dig that.
Yeah, bitch. So I think that could, because him and Nolan have a big connection. Westworld.
Yeah.
I thought he was really awesome in Westworld, even if that season was not that great.
That would be awesome to see him in that.
So Need for Speed was a game movie, but like it was only game movie in name alone.
Yes.
Because it did not follow a story or anything. But then, inverse of that, did you see Gran Turismo? It's on Netflix now. Yeah, it's on Netflix now.
I haven't seen Need for Speed. Saw Gran Turismo. I got the two mixed up in my head just barely when you said that.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring up both. I actually really liked what they did in Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Gran Turismo, and it was about them playing the game.
Yes.
And then coming in. So that was like a really cool story they did in a way to make it a video game movie, but more about.
Well, like, that's the thing is, like, I wonder if you could do. Because, like, let's say, like, GTA, like, 3, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
GTA Vice City. What if, because like we have the story, the base story, this is what you do, you're doing this. What if that was not the movie or the show or whatever we're going to do, and kind of you do what you do with Fallout? Original story, but then have it, because of course it's modern day, so you could easily have just like a random TV thing happen, and it's like, oh look, this is happening, and it's literally a shot-for-shot scene that happens in the game that you're playing through. Or like that sort of thing, or like people mention the characters from the game.
It's tough because it's like you could literally, I would feel like it'd be like Need for Speed, where it's just like, hey, we put this name on, we just put the name on it.
That would be the tough thing to do, is to get around that, because it's not like with Fallout where it's like they have the suits, they have the there is this, there is that,
and that's like a big thing about when I made my list is that like the stuff I put on the list. Okay, so like Skyrim,
Yep.
another Bethesda game. Skyrim would be a tough show because like the world has its little idiosyncrasies. It's got like
Mm,
the story, but like it's not like in your face. This is like a very different universe, like how Fallout is, where it's like an
yes.
alternate timeline in America. It's like has this whole tone, whereas like Skyrim would just be another fantasy show.
Yes, it would be. Yeah.
So it wouldn't
It would
it
just.
wouldn't have the same. It doesn't have the same charm, and that's the big thing. Fallout has this like
And that's
charm and feel.
now that you said it, yeah, that's the big. That's the big is how do you get around that?
Yeah. So like that's why like when you asked me for one, I just gave you Jet Set Radio Future.
Mm,
Jet Set Radio Future is like it's just got its own art style. It's got its own vibe.
mm,
It's got its own like dystopian future feel that like even if you're not familiar, you can make something really cool out of it.
yeah, because this thing is like I'm not familiar with it at all.
Yeah.
But
And the
like,
same thing with like Cyberpunk. You can make
yeah.
a Cyberpunk series and have it be its own story
Well, I guess.
because it's in such a unique universe.
Well, I guess one of the things is like Cyberpunk. I never heard of the game. Genuinely,
Yeah.
never heard of the game until people started talking about it and like they were saying about how excited they were and that they wanted to play. And I'm like, I've never heard of this fucking thing. And then the
Mhm.
show came out, and I remember reacting to the trailer first, and I was like, "This looks awesome." And people
Mhm.
being like, "Oh, you can't watch that, and you can't like it if you haven't played the games." I'm sitting there like, "Fuck off!" Like,
So like they did it perfect too because they had this whole world
and
and
it's one of
it's
my
a
top like
completely different story within the world,
yes,
but it
it's
worked because it's such a unique world.
it's a top 5 anime for me.
Yeah.
It's very well
It's
done.
great.
You know,
I get that. Yeah,
um,
I cried.
so yeah, 100%.
So that's the big thing with with my list. It's like the world's so like I looked one of the best selling games of all time. I think it's number two or three is PUBG.
Yep.
So like I could see like a Chinese company or a Korean company doing like a PUBG adaptation
Yeah.
because it's so huge over there. But like that's also like not really a unique world.
It would be a weird like that'd almost be
Yeah,
like
like-
a what the fuck was that the death race that like no gamer
race?
gamer
Oh,
that was it.
Gamer.
Gamer.
I showed Kat a trailer for Gamer the other day, and she's like, "What the hell is this?" And I was
That's-
like, "Dystopian future, baby.
That's-
Controlling convicts."
That's what I feel like it would be like almost to an extent. You know, I could see it. So I have
I love Gamer.
so on the screen I have Hellblade, and I think Hellblade would be
Yeah.
a fantastic one. So Hellblade is if I can find set in the dark fantasy world inspired by Norse mythology and Celtic culture. The game follows Senua, a Pict warrior who must make her way to Helheim by defeating otherworldly entities and facing their challenges in order to rescue the soul of her dead lover from the goddess Hela.
Mhm.
And she has schizophrenia. She's hearing voices the entire time. She
And
has
that's
to,
something that would have to follow the exact story.
yes, and it
Or
would. I think it would.
Close to it.
I think it would do very well because like there's chapters within the story. There's certain setup things. There's certain there's puzzles and like things she has to like interact with to do. So like there's a lot of things you could do. It'll be live action. I think live action for this would be unreal. Very dark. Like when it says dark fantasy, I'm talking like dark fantasy.
And it'd be great because that really like puts a strong female lead out there.
And it's one of those things. It's like I genuinely think it would be a kind of a cool thing because like it's one of the one of the people that she fights off against is Cert. She fights Cert at one point, who was like a fire giant basically. But in the game though, he basically just has like a giant sword and he's just on fire. Everything's on fire. And it's like a lot of the challenges that she has to go through in the game are like personal challenges, but they relate them to gods, to Norse gods, and it's very, very like I said. I don't want to spoil too much of it because you haven't played it and you want to play it, and I don't want to spoil any of it because I think this is, in my opinion, this is one of my top 3 games of all time, story wise. So I don't want to spoil too much of it, but I think that if you went super dark, super realistic, other than the fact of of course the giant fire god, the giant bird illusion god, that's in it. Other than that shit being the non-realistic aspects of it, but if you can kind of make it feel very realistic, along with just it would be tough to do, but if you had the episode the entire time on if the entire volume of the episode was at 100, but at 10 is just voices the entire episode, every episode. That would be, I think that'd be crazy to do. I don't know if you could pull it off, but it would be perfect for the game, for the game to TV. If you did something like that, just so there's just a constant chatter, no matter what the fuck's going on, constant chatter. I think that'd be insane. But that's one that I think would be a very cool one to do. Yeah. Well, Psychosis. Sorry.
Psychosis.
Yeah, she's doing.
I think a fun one would be Mass Effect, a game that a lot of people forget about, and I think it would be a very not to do like a lot of these shows are just doing 8. Here's like this grand thing. I think it would be fun to do like a Star Trek flavor of the week type show with Mass Effect.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like every week they're doing like a different mission.
I could see that because that would be
some sort of overarching story.
Well, and that would be kind of a cool one too, because you can almost with that, right? It would be very much like you just said. It would be very much Star Trek, just with a new coat of paint on it. But the coat of paint on it, though, at least has original lore. It has already established stories, but you can make your own stories within that universe. That would be kind of cool. Actually, I've never been a big Mass Effect person, but yeah, no, I can see that. I like that.
I think the story's really good. I just hate how they play, and people are like, "Well, you're older, man."
So I got a fucking out in left field one here for you. Unravel.
Okay.
Have you seen it? Right. Do you know what Unravel is?
I know. The side scroller with this yarn thing. Yeah.
So the story is about Yarny, a little yarn character, trying to mend a broken bond, trying to help a lonely old woman reconnect with what she has lost.
Okay.
If you just did just right there, just reading that, yes. Yeah, just do it one series, and it's almost do it as in like a silent character, kind of like a Wall-E sort of thing, but with a narrator.
It would feel like number 9.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do it with but Yarny can't talk. Yarny can just do like facial reactions, which it does in game. But then just have an overarching narrator for the whole thing. I think it'd just be like a one-off thing. 5, 8 episodes like that, and 10, like that sort of thing. I think it would just be
doorbells is all messed up. I'm not kidding. I've gotten 40 notifications since we started this podcast.
That's insane. But I think that'd be kind of I'm gonna word it like this: a yarn puller. A nice little, heart.
Here's
puller.
Here's my curveball.
Okay.
Is a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater show.
Okay.
Where did you ever play any of those?
Oh yeah. If you haven't, there's something wrong with you.
So Tony Hawk Underground. I think a lot of people. Thug.
No, well, I think 3.
3. Okay, so Underground was there was 2 teams. There was Tony Hawk's team and Bam's team.
Okay.
No, that was the second. That was the second one. So the first one was like if you were going from like this neighborhood kid and you try to be a professional skateboarder. I think like a modern telling of that of like a kid trying to become like a skateboarder, but I think making it like over the top like Tony Hawk, we're doing fake skateboarding.
That'd be
where
awesome.
Like one of the levels you have to Moscow, like the big like capital of Moscow, like the big ball building with the ball. I don't know the Kremlin.
Yeah.
The Kremlin. One of the challenges is that you have to like jump over one of the Kremlin walls and transfer over it. And like in my head, I'm like, that would be like doing something like that, and like would be very fun. Just to have like this over the top show where it's an aging Tony Hawk because he's old now.
Yeah. Do it like he's gonna give out like this much money. If someone can do all of these challenges, and that's the whole thing.
Yes,
like,
that's literally what Underground is.
Yeah,
is like doing these challenges. So like I think that would be a really fun, like out of left field. No one ever saw this coming.
I dig
TV show.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say one.
Yeah.
And then move on to my next one.
Okay.
Because I think that I don't need to say anything about it. I just need to say the title. And you will understand, and everyone else that's still listening will understand. Doki Doki Literature Club.
Don't understand, but okay.
Oh, really? Have you not played Doki Doki?
Never even heard of it.
I'm not gonna say anything then. I'm just that is if you've given me homework to do games and to do movies and stuff, that's mine for you. The one that I've ever said to you, Doki Doki Literature Club. I would love it. I would
Oh
fucking
my god.
I would love it if you streamed it.
Hey, Kat,
If
have you heard of Doki Doki Literature Club?
if you played this and streamed it.
Have you heard of Doki Doki Literature Club? The sex game?
It's not a sex game.
Okay, she's not heard of it. She's not played it either.
Okay, so
because that's like I'm looking at it and that's like definitely one of her kind of style games.
so I
So
now
okay, it's not a sex game, whatever.
I now it's technically a psychological horror.
Okay.
I desperately want you to play this on stream now. I want you to stream just this game.
Is it on Steam?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like $10, I think.
Oh yeah, it's on
And
Steam.
then let me know when you do it because oh my god, this just
No,
made
dude,
my
it's free.
day. It's free?
Yeah. There's a DLC is $10.
Okay, maybe that's what I bought when I bought it. But anyways, yeah,
It's
so
free.
you'll understand when you play it, which like I said, I'm very excited to hopefully see
You know
you
what?
play it.
I'll download it right now so I don't forget.
And then, so the next one I'm going to say, and this is my absolute wild card to an extent, The Wolf Among Us.
You know, I've heard things about that.
Okay, so it's a Telltale game. So you know how Telltale games are.
Yeah.
So this is what I would do. Okay, you ready for this? Film it. And film, when you're filming it, basically film each episode, right? And this is how crazy I would do this. So you film the whole thing, right? First episode comes out. It kind of ends in the cliffhanger, like most Telltale games do. Okay? Then you have to go to the website to choose which thing you want next.
So they did that with it's not that exactly, but they did that with there was a Netflix Black Mirror.
I remember that.
And they did a really good job with it. So I think like maybe you could do that, something like that.
Because with a Telltale game, it makes like you have to do that. I feel like, but then also allows you to do this as well later on because like you film all of these different things, and then later on you get to reap the benefits of selling the DVD with that extra stuff in it.
Doki Doki's already downloaded. We're good to go.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. But there's two of mine. I got three left.
Okay. Let me get all right. So another one I was like, you know, they'll probably try to do at some point is Call of Duty, which like I'm like, what do you do with that? I know, but I imagine someone might try to do that at some point, which that's another one that's like nothing's unique enough about it.
Like the old school campaigns I've heard are very good. Like the old campaigns in it.
Well, even 2 years ago, the Modern Warfare remake from like 2019 actually is what it was, 2019. That campaign is awesome.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
Like,
but then it goes. Then this my thing is it's like with and that's the thing with this is that with a lot of these, I'd rather just watch someone play the campaign.
There's a couple levels that like there's one level where you clear a house. I think it's called Clear House. I could be wrong. Where you like in England, you clear this house of like it's filled with terrorists, and you have to go room to room to clear it, like a tactical like. And I think that's like one of the coolest levels out of any game I've ever played.
It's not the airport one.
Well, that one's up there.
I can see it. I can see it though. Yeah, no, I can see it.
But all right, so my big one is that I think they should do, but I don't know if who owns Steam?
Steam itself, like the
yeah, who's like what's their game studio called?
That's a great question. Steam is that owned by Valve.
Valve. All right, so Valve, I haven't known them to make any games or anything or like any like content, but like either Portal would be a really cool universe, but the big one I think would be Half-Life.
Oh, okay.
To make a Half-Life TV show.
Okay.
Because then there's a bunch of like fan made videos of like Half-Life, and they're always really good. because that's a whole like universe that like you could dive into because basically Half-Life is about an alien invasion,
Mm.
and I think that there's so that opens the door to so many things because you could that one specifically you can stick to the story of like Gordon or
Mm.
Alex or any of these main characters they've used, or you can just like introduce like something completely new in a different part of the country.
That's fair. Um,
So
I will say now that you said that, just to get it out there, because I'm assuming if someone's gone this far into it, probably upset that we haven't said it. Obviously, we think a Gears of War series adaptation should happen. We both think
yeah,
that. We both think it should
yeah.
happen. I've already gone on record saying Dave Bautista needs to be Marcus Phoenix and Terry Crews needs to
I
be Coltrane.
uh I
That's
think Dave Bautista's already a character in it.
Yeah, he is. That's what I want him to do. I just want to be Marcus Phoenix though. Now,
Oh, just instead.
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he's a playable character in one of the games, and
Okay, I thought
I
so.
want
Yeah.
either Terry Crews or the wrestler Big E to play Coltrane,
Okay.
because I think that would
Well,
work too.
the guy who voices Coltrane is that big.
Oh, then fuck it, just do him. Fuck it, then.
You remember Terry Tate, office linebacker?
It's him.
That's him.
Send it. Don't care anymore. Everything else I just said, remove it. That's it. Send it.
It's a Coltrane.
That's okay.
So,
So yeah, so let's just fucking throw that out there, because if anyone's getting all butthurt because we haven't said
no,
it
I didn't
here.
even think about that, but yeah, no,
Gears.
that would
Yeah.
be. I mean, that's Epic. Epic has money. It has like show money.
So now I'm gonna hit one that okay. So I'm just gonna hit my last three real quick, because two of them are
Okay.
gonna be very quick ones.
I'm pretty much just done. On mine, I think.
Tomb Raider. And see, the next two are gonna be kind of controversial because we've already had so many bad versions. Tomb Raider, I think, instead of a movie, make it a TV series. Go
Yeah.
kind of based off of the 2014 series.
Which the recent movie kind of did. I actually
Yes.
really liked that one.
I think it would be cool, because you could basically turn that 3-game series into a 6-season show if you do it correctly, where each season this is the first season. Now we tell an original story in the second season. The third season happens, and the third season is now the second game. The fourth season is now an original fucking story again, and you could do it very much like that. We have original story, but then you tell the story of a game.
Who's your Laura Croft?
I would, you know what? I'm gonna say fuck it and just have it be Alicia Vikingard, who was in the movie.
Okay, okay, keep it her.
Yeah, I think
I thought she was pretty good as it.
I thought she was good, and I think that like she looks like I don't know now, right? Because it's been a couple years, but I'm assuming that she's
I haven't seen her in a couple of years in anything.
yeah. I mean, the tough thing would be is that you need someone that could portray her as a kind of the age role sort of thing, so we're not getting
Yeah.
into a Kate Blanchett
I
sort
think
of.
I think like with the way the world's going, they'll just make it Florence Pugh or something.
Probably, which I'd be fine with that too.
I'd be fine with that too.
My next one that's kind of in the same vein of this, where it's like a Assassin's Creed as a series, not of
That
a.
movie was garbage.
There was some parts of the movie that I really liked,
Yeah.
and then there was a lot of it that I just really did not like. I think as a series, I think that would be solid, because then each season you can tell
Cheers, that would be cool. Yeah.
you can basically tell either a game or a specific thing, a specific, and like that's another thing that I think would be kind of cool along with the games, where you can leave little Easter eggs of future stuff that's happening, right? Because like we know we're getting the samurai one, we know we're getting the kind of the weird witchy hex one. Game
It just sucks because I think everyone's given up on Assassin's Creed.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I think after Mirage was, I'm going to say unfairly
You're like, I liked
destroyed.
it. I
Well,
didn't check it out, play it.
Well, my thing was this: it's like everybody has been. What's the main thing people have been complaining about with Assassin's Creed?
Too much. Too much.
Too much. Go back to basics, right? Mirage went back to basics to the extent, to the very bottom level. There was almost no real fighting in the game. It was all stealth combat, and it was all stealth stuff, and it was in a setting that's very similar to the first few games, and people hated it, and there's no reason for it because it was a fucking great game. So I mean, that's my thing with that. And my final one, I want this live action. I want a series. Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Okay, I have never played it, but it's the black and white one, right?
It's the one that's like not black and it's kind of black and white, black and gold, like that sort of like art style. But yeah, The one that's like a weird, demented Mickey Mouse sort of world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that as a show would be either a show or a movie because now we got Freddy Fazbear there, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now that was a movie and that works
Oh,
pretty well.
that movie was really good,
Yeah,
actually.
I
I
think
liked it.
I think that this could be a movie or a show, depending on what you want to do.
I saw that in theaters, and you know what? I was like, I don't care about Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hmm.
I really enjoyed it. But I think the Josh Hutcherson Matthew Lillard combination
Yes.
worked out really well.
It did. It really did.
Because everyone loves, like, as much as people rag on him, people really like Peta.
Yeah, Peter.
And then, I mean, everyone gets a hard boner for Matthew Lillard. He's dad boner.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like horror royalty at this point.
Mm-hmm. I do. So I think this would be cool because it says summaries. Henry, a former traditional animator, gets a strange note from a friend that invites him to his old workplace. Henry finds the place abandoned and discovers a mysterious ink machine creating all sorts of abominations. Like, you're telling me that doesn't sound like... It's already a beloved game series at this point. Make it a beloved TV show. Make it a beloved actual franchise now, right? Full send. Because you could do some really creepy shit with that if you did live action as well. So that's my list, though.
Oh yeah.
So, and you said what? You said you had one or two more.
No, that was I didn't go in order. I just kind of bounced around. My big one was Mass Effect. BioShock. You talk about BioShock.
Ooh, yes.
So that's a very unique universe too. And then like every season could be very different because BioShock 1 was underwater. BioShock 2 was also underwater, but you could do BioShock 1 underwater, BioShock Infinite's in the sky. You could do one in space. You could create a whole like world of that.
I think
Nolan Ryan, like it was you all along.
Mm-hmm. I think that any sort of game where there was either one or two things. Any sort of game where there's been like, this is the lore, but if people don't look it up, I think I'd make for a fantastic game or a fantastic series. Or a game where it's like, the world is incredible and you're kind of just playing just a random character that you make.
Yeah.
That would also make one, because then you can basically do whatever you want.
Well, so another thing I saw like is that like with Fallout is the three main characters, Maximus, the Ghoul, and Lucy. They're all three different ways to play the game.
See, that's cool too. I never knew that.
I didn't put that together too, but that's like they all have different stats, especially Lucy at the beginning because she actually outlines her special, her stats. That's her whole thing. They are all three different ways to play the game.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. So then the question becomes this now, DeNutte. This becomes the question. What do y'all think? What games do you think should be adapted? Yeah, what did we miss? Probably missed something.
Don't say Pokemon. We don't need to hear any of that.
Yeah. I'm assuming someone's going to say Fortnite.
Yeah, I thought about it, and then I just went, no.
Yeah,
Roblox. Rogue Company.
Oh,
I don't think there's enough like love of Rogue Company.
There's not enough love, but I like it. I mean, if we're gonna go down that line, I mean, I might as well just fucking throw it out there. We got to throw Valorant.
Oh yeah. Well, there's enough love for that.
There's enough love. There's enough love. There's lore. There's all that. Maybe Destiny.
They already did League of Legends, so I mean they can nail that too.
Yeah.
So.
So let us know. Like what did we miss? I mean, we just listed off. We just named off 4 more games that we could do. So I'm interested to see what you guys say. What do you guys think we should have adapted next? Right? What is the big next one? Final thoughts. Final thing. What do you got? What do you got for the good people at home or wherever they're listening to this? Because I don't know where people listen to this at.
If you haven't watched Fallout, go watch Fallout.
There you go. Go watch Fallout. Let us know down in the comments down below what you guys think. Next week, we'll be doing a thing.
Accurate.
Yeah. So, we're not going to tell you yet because I might not even know. So, and if I don't know, then he doesn't know. So, as always, depending on where you are, morning, afternoon, night, stay out trouble, stay safe, and we talk to y'all later. Bye.